Top of the morning, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and you know I have some new news concerning Lennox Lewis. Big up Lewis, big up England, big up. You know Lennox Lewis has went on record with his latest interview with ESPN, and he has ranked the heavyweight fighters, and it's interesting what his ranking is. And his first, he says that Tyson Fury is leading the flock. Tyson Fury is the number one heavyweight. Second is Deontay Wilder. Third is Anthony Joshua. Of course, he said that Anthony Joshua walked away from the $50 million. And if it was him, he would have took that fight before Tyson Fury had a chance to crack at it. So... so they asked him, they're like, well, who would win out of these guys, and he was like, well, I'm not going to pick, but, I think Tyson Fury has a bigger chance of beating these guys and having to beat any of them. And I think that Deontay Wilder is just the number two because these guys, fought each other, as opposed to the failed negotiations from Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. Now, what Lewis did say, he said that Tyson Fury stepped up when Anthony Joshua didn't. And that's why he's considered the man to beat, simply because he's the lineal champion. And a lot of guys have to answer to him. And, he's never been beat inside the ring, of course. Those guys fought to a draw. A lot of people had Lennox Lewis included, had Tyson Fury winning the fight. Now, the funny thing I have to add to that is, he's a representative for BT Sports. So why is your opinion important? Why do you feel that you need to... Sure, I know Tyson Fury is from Britain also, so it makes sense, But it's like none of these guys have fought Anthony Joshua. But if you look at the video, and I'll put the link of the video below, he tried to say so much, but not saying too much, if that makes sense. What Lennox says was, I'm not going to pick. That was his way of trying to stay out of it, because I feel now that he's got a lot of criticism, especially from this channel and other channels, of the way that he will criticize Anthony Joshua due to the failed negotiations. You know what I mean? And him being on the B side of things, everyone knows that he could have been counsel to Deontay Wilder with his shenanigans over there, with all his stuff he had going on. Okay. Now I'll talk about him later, because I've said a lot about Deontay Wilder, but I have to make another volume of The Undisputed Lie, simply because that damn podcast was so long it was just crazy. Anyway, because I have a lot more to cover. And but Lennox Lewis is clearly favoring Tyson Fury because he's the bigger, taller, more skillful fighter. Now I'll give him that. Tyson Fury is a skilled fighter for being that big. He's a freak of nature. Deontay Wilder's very powerful, and he has the speed and he has heart. So, and being that weight and the power that he possesses, he's another freak. So you got two freaks. Then you have Anthony Joshua, the guy that brings in all the money, the guy that is the unified champion of the division. And then no one's fought him. No one seemed to get in the ring with him, because people look at Anthony Joshua and see dollar signs. You know what I mean? That's it. It's dollar signs. And so they asked for some crazy number. It's almost like the skit from Dave Chappelle when, they found out Dave Chappelle was actually rich. So he was getting his hair cut, and it was like, hey, man, how much do I owe you for this cut? And he's like, $552. He's like, man, I'm not paying it. And he showed him his gap. You know what I mean? It's like that. So when they see Anthony Joshua, they think, oh, man, money man, 30 million pounds a fight, 20 million plus pounds a fight. So, yeah, we want a lot of money. So they start picking out a number out of their ass, some crazy number that they can just, use either to, to see if they'll go for it, and then they try to base their worth on his wealth. Because, they're the guys that's paying ultimately, Eddie Hearn and Sky Sports, on that team, on Team Joshua, they're the ones responsible to pay the other fighter. So the other fighter knows to ask for a crazy amount of money. So back to Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis is saying, oh, I would have took the fight of Deontay Wilder before Tyson got a crack at him. But he still doesn't understand. And I don't really know, again, I keep saying this, guys. I don't know if Lennox Lewis knows what the financial blueprint was. What was the layout? I don't think he understands that. Either he doesn't understand or he doesn't care. Then if he doesn't care, he has to look at his own career. He picked $10 million to fight Evander Holyfield. He still was robbed, sure, but he took that money like Tyson Fury did, okay? But understand, Tyson Fury accepted that money. Lennox Lewis accepted that money to get in the ring with these guys, okay? Anthony Joshua never had to accept anything, okay? He didn't have to accept anything because it was Deontay's choice and responsibility to accept. See, these guys were both B-side. Deontay was B-side. Well, no, Tyson Fury was B-side. Lennox Lewis was B-side. Deontay Wilder is B-side. So these guys having an offer offered to them, then what they would do, they could either say yay or nay. Lewis said yay, Tyson said yay, Deontay said nay. So it's unfair for Lennox Lewis to keep saying, well, Josh was only about money, and he should have let that fight happen. And then, of course, he brought up the $50 million. But of course, you would bring up the $50 million because you knew exactly where it was coming from, don't you, Mr. BT? BT Lewis. That's Lewis's new name. Lennox BT Lewis. You know what I mean? That's his name. That's his new name because he knows exactly where that money was coming from. He knew, and then he doesn't, if you notice, Lennox doesn't talk about the business aspect so much. He's just talking about, we'll make the fight happen. He's talking about it as a fan instead of a fighter that knows what the hell business is and politics of how you make a fight happen. That's what I don't understand about Lennox Lewis. He's pretending like he doesn't know, like he's ignorant to the fact. And he clearly shouldn't be ignorant to the fact is all the fights that he had. The negotiations that you had to agree upon. If Deontay Wilder doesn't agree to certain terms, the fight's not going to happen. Because it takes two to tango, people. You know what I mean? Lennox Lewis knows that. But I get why he picked Tyson Fury, and I know he's trying to lean more on Tyson Fury and talk less about Joshua, which is a smart thing. Because the more he talks about Anthony Joshua, the more he digs a hole for himself. Because eventually he's going to have to see that man and then explain, man, why are you ridiculing me, criticizing me? You know what I'm saying? And, from a fight that your boy didn't accept from me. So eventually that's going to happen, and again, I think a lot of people has came to him and, but he's hating. He's a hater. You know what I mean? Let's just call it how we see it. He's just hating, you know what I mean? And of course, it's vested interest how he would put Tyson Fury first. So basically, this is actually ex-boxer that works for BT Sports that's coming from another bias aspect to Counterpunch it all in a nutshell. So anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Lennox Lewis. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.